I remember when, I mean, I never went here when it was elementary. I went to West Side.
You know, when I started at the school, 6 through 12 was on the high
Well,
school.
I was gonna say, I went my 6th grade year was in what's now Champs Hall.
Yep.
It was in building back then.
6th and 7th grade.
Was in there, and then we took off, and they moved out. No, I would have went 7th grade there as well, but my mom decided that I wasn't ready to move on to 7th grade, so she held me back.
What happened with my
So I ended up having to go back to the elementary school.
after my son's 9th grade year on the high school campus, they moved 9th grade out where it is now.
Okay.
And he says, I gotta stay on the campus in the office later.
Well, cause my class was the first one to go 7th and 8th grade at the new junior high at the time, which is now junior high south.
When I started in the school system, there was only 2 elementary schools, east side and west side.
Mm-hmm. When we moved here, 83, that's all there was. You had east side and west side. And then they brought in south side, and it was north side, then central, and then now it's, well, I say that. You still have it.
Good evening. I'll bring this meeting to order at 6:30 in the evening on October 15th. I'd call this meeting to order. Would somebody like to say a prayer for us? Anybody? If not, I will. Please stand. You can sit, Showers. Lord, as come forward this evening, we give thanks for being allowed to gather and do the business of the city. We ask you to be in our minds and our hearts as we do the business for the city for the benefit of all. And we ask these things as we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Hall is absent tonight. Councilmember Chapman?
Here.
Councilmember McMahon? Here. Councilmember Hefner?
Here.
Councilmember Brooke?
Here.
And Councilmember Rubel.
Here. We do have a quorum. First up on the agenda tonight is the review and approval of the council minutes from September 17th. You've had a chance to review those.
Motion.
I'd entertain a motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the department reports and financials. You've had your chance to take a look at those. I'd entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion.
All right, we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, Mr. Joe from American Legion, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I handed out a flyer that Joe had provided to each of you on the American Legion.
I will bring you up to date. 3 years ago, I was commander of the American Legion Post in Cabot. Our mayor called me up to his office and I said, "Oh, I'm in trouble." He says, "No, I have a building for you." We were in the mini mall there in Cabot. He thought it was a disgrace to our post. He gave us a building on 600 North Crayon, free. The city pays for everything. So we're very well off. We've been there 3 years, but we've been in town since 1938. And if you look on your sheets, you'll see all the activities that we do. As of this moment, we have 300 members signed up for this year. Our goal is to be 448 by the end of the year. We are the second largest post in the state of Arkansas. We're the first active post in the state of Arkansas. And we are, in the coming months, November 11th, we will have a Veterans Day ceremony at our post. and our guest speaker is going to be the Attorney General of the state of Arkansas, Tim Griffin. There might be a luncheon afterwards for all the veterans. That's in the planning stages right now. But the week before Thanksgiving, there will be a Thanksgiving dinner at the post for all veterans and their spouses. And then Christmas will be in the Christmas parade. But we encourage y'all, if you see any veterans in the ward, send them our way. We want any veterans to help them. We have our own veteran service officer in the county. He is in our post every Wednesday from 7:30 till he sees everybody. He's the best one in the state of Arkansas. He's Sam High. And I want to thank y'all for letting me talk. Thank you.
You have any questions for Joe?
I do. I'm a member of the VFW through my dad. How do
Yes.
y'all have?
We have an auxiliary that you can be through that also.
Okay, what kind of paperwork? Just a DD-24?
DD 214, we got an application. If you come by, we'll give you that application to fill out.
Okay, cool.
The dues are $35 a year. So
I thought they're 40 now.
no, ours is 40.
Okay.
Theirs is 35.
Got it. I'm a proud member of Post 71, so.
Yes, we're glad he is.
Well, thanks, Joe. Anybody got any
Okay.
more questions? Any questions from the audience? Joe, appreciate you coming by
Okay.
and give us a little briefing on Post 71. Y'all do great work there for the veterans, and I always enjoy myself when I make those meetings. I don't make enough of them, but
Okay,
thanks for coming by.
okay,
Thank you for your service.
thank you.
All of y'all in here are veterans. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a presentation from our architect. Yes, sir, and you have the power to move slides. Okay. He's going to give a presentation on the design presentation on the municipal complex renovation, the different phases, and it is quite remarkable, I must say.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name's Chad Young. I'm President and CEO of WD&D Architects. This is Abby Redmond. She's our senior interior designer.
I will tell you also it's her birthday today. Happy birthday.
It is.
We won't sing for you. Yeah.
So we've got a little presentation to talk about what we're proposing, and I'm gonna probably point to, these may be a little easier to read. Is that a little easier to read for everyone? So we're looking at a couple different sort of scopes of work. One was an improvement of the city council room that we're standing in today. Also, and that's phase one primarily. And then phase two is what happened? Yeah, phase two is the hallway corridors, the restroom and the entrance upgrades. And then phase three is that dining area lounge. That's the green portion in the back right there. So what we've done is on the phase one is actually turned the whole council room to this side here, to this wall. Sort of change up the seating area. Part of the phase two work is the exterior upgrades, and that includes upgrading the canopy, putting some lighting out there, some new signage, landscaping, improving the planters out there that's got the logs around it, just giving the front a little bit of a facelift. It also includes upgrading the council room entrance so that it's ADA accessible. We're talking about doing some concrete work that starts out at the walkway going up, and then once you get up to this entrance back here, that it would be at level with this room here. And that's the proposed design. So it would be some upgrades to the canopy with new lighting, a new soffit, and then that concrete work that would be just one continuous slope ramp that leads up to that. It'd also be some improvements to the exterior envelope of the building, proposing painting the exterior metal panel, providing a little bit of wood texture across that back wall, and then some signage on there just to call out the council room entrance. You'd also see glass doors that would face you, so that'd be a glass vestibule as you walk up. So you're in in cover right here once you get to the top of that landing, and then you could enter the room with a separate door there. And then looking back down that corridor back towards mayor's office and the other department offices, improving that corridor with just new flooring, taking the wall that's got the CMU block and putting some sheetrock on it and paint. We leave the brick wall that's exposed all the way down the hallway and do some new lighting and ceiling work. So it's just more cosmetic upgrades in that area. So the council room upgrades I talked about earlier, we're turning the stage area and putting all the seating on this side for public. What that helps us do is we can upgrade the toilet that's back here to ADA and then give it its own little corridor so that you could actually have a little small vestibule for privacy back to that area. The existing toilet that's in that corner, it would actually be behind a wall. So we'd create two walls, and I'll come off the microphone here. So you have two walls that sort of angle, you can see on either side, that angle, that have doors that go into, one's an AD closet and one's access to the toilet and the judge's office. So the judge could pop out that door that's behind the bench, so to speak. So some pictures of the existing situation, which you can just look around and see, and then the proposed new design. Now it's setting about over in that corner, looking back towards the main sort of podium. So we're building all that up on a 6-inch platform, similar to what you have here, but we'd have a ramp on one side so that it's easier to get to for everyone, and then you can see the doors on either side. We have the state seal behind the bench, put the flags and put monitors on either one of those walls on either side. I'll let Abby talk a little bit about some of the interior finishes that we're doing.
So on that back wall here, right behind the seal, there'll actually be the state seal, and then we have the City of Ward seal as well. And so that will actually be a highly polished large format tile, which I have samples up here, so I'll show you here in just a second. And then we'll use a paneling that is solid surface, and it actually has a velvet touch, so oftentimes when you use a PLAM paneling, it's really affordable, but you can see the greasy fingertips and prints all over it, and this actually is fingerprintless, so it'll look really nice and luxe for an affordable price. We'll then do all new carpeting, and so we just have a really neutral color palette that we're going with, and really to make that back wall be the feature there. The new millwork will also be a wood tone, so it'll be a wood tone PLAM, and then we have also designed in Kevlar panels, so bullet resistant panels, so if there is a safety event, that has some security behind it there. And then we also have solid surface countertop with full power, microphones, everything integrated into that millwork. So then we also have a podium, and then the two tables that you often use, similar to what you have currently, that we'll go ahead and place in that area as well. The rest of the walls will all just be sheetrock and painted. And then we also have covered up the two windows that you see on this side of the room. We actually have covered those up to better prepare for presentations and things that we might need. So we'll then also tuck the flags and the seals right by that highly polished tile in that back there.
We're also proposing new finishes, flooring, ceiling, lighting. We'll keep the same ceiling height where it is, but just do all new finishes. This is the view from the other angle as you're coming in to the room. The restrooms will be on the left-hand side off of a cased opening. This way the public's a little closer to the action, but also we think it makes for a wider sort of more spacious feel overall. So phase 2 is that hallway corridor mentioned earlier. It's bathroom upgrades. It's putting some toilet partitions in. It's adding urinals and making them men's and women's. It's also adding a true vestibule when you walk in to the front. As you know, you walk in now, you're just right into the hallway. This would give you a secure kind of vestibule situation where you'd walk into a new storefront set of doors, and then you'll meet another set of doors, but the area where the police chief's office is, right next to that, there's another office, and then there's a closet behind that. We would take that closet out and make that an open office area and put a window in there. We're talking about doing maybe some bullet resistant glass, that window. And that person there could, actually buzz you in and let you in past that second door. So it'd be a secured vestibule, similar to a lot of what schools do these days. So we're doing some upgrades in that area, in the chief's area, the new vestibule, the bathrooms, and then the corridor we talked about earlier with the new finishes from one end to the other. We got a series of ramps and steps that go through that hallway, so it'll just be doing some cosmetic finishes. So that's the existing with the brick wall that would remain and be enhanced. And then the CMU block that's on the other side, that's what we'd overlay with sheetrock and paint that. So this is that idea of the secure vestibule. When you first walk in, the set of doors, there's the secondary set of doors that's secure that you have to be buzzed in on. And then the bullet resistant glass into the police department's area.
So in this space, in the new entry, we're using a lot of blues and bringing the earth tones further in, but bringing a little bit more color in. So you'll see on the back wall of the entry, we have a feature wall covering. So we have some deeper blues. These are our paint colors. So this is the palette for the whole renovation. So we'll blend this from this space, which is more neutral, and then we'll start adding the blue color in throughout the hall area. And then we have the LVT that he mentioned, just really durable. This also has acoustic backer, so you won't be echoing down the hall quite as often. So it'll kind of help with the sound. And then of course the new ceilings and new lighting will help with that as well. Underneath the reception area, you see that blue paneling. That'll be similar to the paneling that we talked about using here in the court area or in the council room. And actually the brick serves as that bullet resistant in place of Kevlar or something similar of that bullet resistant paneling. So we'll still have that safety feature without having the added cost. So we'll just update the cosmetics, and then as he said, that glass is bullet resistant, and we've also looked at the speaker holes and having exchanges that are secure as well. So just looking at different security aspects while also adding visibility into the space as well.
Yeah, so this could be a place where if somebody needs to file a police report or ask for information or something like that, that's where they could come in and not have to go into the full building. We're also proposing another window on the other wall off the hallway. That's totally optional, but we thought it was a great way to, one, just create better visibility of the corridor and the vestibule, and also bringing in some borrowed natural light from behind us. That's looking back towards the vestibule. You see the window on the left-hand side, and police department down on the left. We also talked about in the secure vestibule, still keeping a station for the prescription drug drop, as well as maybe creating another one for water bill drop off too, if we wanted to have 2 little kiosks inside there. And then phase 3 is the dining room area. It currently is this. It's got the kind of, I'll say, popcorn ceiling with exposed light fixtures. And then sort of 2 different areas of seating. You've got this kind of carpeted area, and then you got the more solid LVT space. And then it's got that rail where there's a little bit of a step down. So what we thought we'd do is do something where just utilize that rail, make it a actual counter, include some additional seating there, make what you see in purple more of a lounge space, different kind of seating. And then the dining / training multi-use room, improve all the finishes in there. And one of the big aspects is, dropping a ceiling down to cover over that existing ceiling with a new, lay-in ceiling, new recessed linear lighting, new flooring, and then you can see that back area where the lounge area is. You can see the blue portion where the counter is. That's where additional sort of bar type seating is.
We use a lot of the same finishes that we've been showing, but we have started to bring a lot more of the blue in. So the lounge really has, the carpet has a patterned blue color in it. We're using that same feature wall covering that we saw in the entry to start bringing everything together. And then we also have really durable finishes for furniture that we found that can be cleaned with bleach, whatever it may be. So really nice for if they are eating in the lounge. So we're thinking durability, longevity of the pieces that we do put in there while giving it a little bit of life and color in there. We'll also, over that counter area, you can kind of see in the back where people are sitting, we'll do some decorative pendants, so it really starts to separate the space. So people can sit there if someone is speaking in the dining area, but then if someone wants to just utilize the lounge, it doesn't feel like they're in one big empty room. So trying to make two spaces out of one, but feel connected at the same time. We'll also do privacy film on the windows. It doesn't render. It doesn't show up very well in the renderings. But what we're thinking is something that's a little more solid down at the bottom, and then it gradiates up to clear. So you get some natural light in still, but you have that privacy. So if there is a private meeting in there, we'll have that privacy available.
So the way we've broke this out is into phases. The first phase being the council room interior renovation, ADA upgrades in the space. We're calling that one phase 1. Phase 2, like I mentioned, the hallway, the exterior portions of it. That way, when we start talking about adding storefront glass and doors, entrance doors, we can kind of lump all that together so that that just makes a lot of sense. That way, all your exterior stuff is a phase. And then the dining area, that being phase 3. So we've reached out to a local contractor and got some preliminary budgeting. And I'll just say that this preliminary budgeting, these are estimates based on design drawings. These are not full finished construction documents that are hard bids. These are budgets to use. Phase 1 is coming in around $245,000. That's everything in this room here, finishes, the restroom upgrades, building the Kevlar paneled council desk, new lighting, new flooring, wall treatments. And then phase 2 is $404,000, and that is all the exterior things we talked about, the new storefront, the ADA ramp that gets you to this entrance here at the council and courtroom. Also the restrooms, the corridors, the reception area, cutting that opening into the police department area with the bullet-resistant glass. And then some of the exterior landscaping and upgrades we talked about with under the canopies, the concrete flat work, and new lighting. And then phase 3, $135,000. That's the budget for that dining area, and that's all new finishes in that area with the counter, new ceiling, the window film, flooring, and paint. So any questions?
Council, have any questions?
I have a question. You got the vestibule, the entryway, where you come in, where it's secure with the police department. What is the possibility of moving the water department down so instead of having to come into the building, they can also have a window there at the main entrance?
Yeah, it might be flip-flopping some of your departments around. If you've got some space to move chief or the officer that's right outside of that, out of his office, maybe we could probably move some desks around.
That's a discussion that we had talked about, possibly putting the water office, payment window right there, and moving around to the other side of the PD, or if you need to come in and make a report, maybe flip-flop it down, like put water office down there, move chief somewhere else. I mean, these are all possibilities to be discussed later, but the overall design could be used for that for sure.
I mean, I'd love to see you guys do at least like flooring and paint throughout the rest of the departments, just to tie everything together eventually someday. So maybe there's a master plan somewhere.
Right. Well, any other questions? Council, what I'd like to talk about is moving forward with this on phase 1. In doing so, authorization to continue to work with WD on this and work through the process of bidding this out and getting it designed out and bid out. And once that is, near completion or we're getting there, we'll talk about phase 2 and phase 3. But we can't do all this at one time. But I think we can certainly do it over phases like we talked about.
I'd like to make a motion to approve to continue working with WDD.
Phase 1.
For phase 1.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the table to continue working with WG from phase 1 on the renovation. Any further discussion? Any public discussion?
That doesn't mean that we,
Turn the mic on, please.
that doesn't mean that we're locked in for phase 2, phase 3 with them, right?
No.
This is phase 1
Correct.
only.
Correct. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed?
Show 1 opposed, 2 opposed. So we have 3 positive and 2 negative. I'll vote in the positive to make it 4. I'll vote in the affirmative. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
You can just leave that there, I'll be fine. She's not here, no, she's sick. Moving forward with the planning commission meeting, report. Aaron is sick tonight. Ms. Helen's going to fill in for her tonight. Couple different things. No, she didn't know about trees. In fact, isn't your question about trees? I talked with Erin. She hasn't got the information yet. She'd like to postpone that discussion until January.
Okay.
So,
Good evening. So the first thing we talked about was conditioning use permit for number 1 Chris Drive. This is for a modular home that's a little under 1,000 square feet being placed at that address. It is an R1 zoning area, so therefore anything under 1,000 square feet will require a conditional use permit to be in code compliance. In a public hearing watched before the meeting, letters were sent to adjourning properties and no objections were made to the board.
council, that was approved by the commission for this conditional use. It requires council action to approve.
Where is it?
On Chris
Number 1
Drive, you know
Chris.
where brewery is? Chris Drive is about halfway down on the left. It's a
really
private
small.
drive.
It's really small.
It's a private drive, it's gravel road.
Motion
What,
approved.
well, 3 houses on that
Right.
whole thing?
We have a motion and a second to approve conditional use. Any further question? Any comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. On our second one, we had a replat of Magnolia West lots 25 through 27. This replat was requested by the city of Ward to transfer ownership to the detention pond to the city.
If you look on a screen, council, that tract A down at the bottom is a detention pond. And they've given us easements between lots 27 and 26. And we'll have easements to get back to that lot, track A that we'll own. If we don't own it, it will overgrow and then not serve right. So that's what this replat's for.
Motion.
A motion to
Second.
approve the replat
And a second.
and a second. Any discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council.
Thank you, council.
You have one more, I believe, a variance?
I don't think
Oh, no, you don't, no, you're right. Variance is approved by you, my apology. All right, next up on the agenda is, let's go back one. Or a couple, actually. Let's see, wastewater advisory committee report.
Yes, sir. We met last night, and we went over, we reviewed and were educated on like a monthly residential billing statement for water, sewer, and sanitation. So we got to ask lots of questions and understand it and how things are configured and what things look like and why people feel like their water bill is so high, because it's all kind of inclusive altogether. So after we finished all that, we also discussed about the options of, we're going to start in looking at ways to communicate with the community, kind of giving them an update about their, not just water, but it's water, sewer, all those things, and looking at doing a mail out. I'll get into that a little bit later when we have more information. So we just threw around a bunch of ideas and have some different people looking into what we want to include in that and how we want to get that information out. And then we also talked about exploring some options to be able to assist families that are in financial distress when they're shut off. Bruce mentioned how difficult it was sometimes to cut somebody's water off knowing that they're facing, a medical problem or things like that. So we're gonna talk about all those things. So that's where we are. We've made it through all of kind of our education pieces that we wanted to get to, and so now we're gonna start moving forward with some other things.
Very good. Any discussion? Well, thank you. Chief?
Nothing new to report because we're gonna try to meet next week if I can get everybody to approve the date.
Okay, very good.
I'm good, anytime.
Yeah, still got 2 more to go, so hopefully we'll have something good for you next month.
All right, Chief, thanks. All right, moving forward to old business. Ordinance 2024-18, if you read the title, please.
An ordinance amending ordinance 2024-03 to clarify access to water meter boxes, to establish ownership responsibilities for wastewater lines, and for other purposes.
Council, this is third reading for this particular ordinance as modified last time. Any discussion?
It still says intended or unintended blocking.
Let's see.
I didn't have, but.
It doesn't change from last month, or we approved last month.
As long as that word's still there.
Okay. Hearing that, I'd entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2024-18 on its third reading. We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember McMahon?
Yes.
Councilmember Hefner?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooke?
Yes.
And Councilmember Rubel.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-18 has been approved. I'd entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-18.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember McMahon?
Yes.
Councilmember Hefner?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooke?
Yes.
Councilmember Rubel?
Yes.
And Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-18 has been approved as without the emergency clause. It'll go into effect in 30 days. Thank you, council. Next up on the agenda is ordinance 2024-22. Would you please read the title?
An ordinance authorizing Christopher Lewis, a City of Ward employee, to work as a paid umpire for the city while off duty from his normal city duties, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Council, this is just a thing we have to do. It's housekeeping. He works as Courtney's going to come forward explaining better as our HR and Finance Director.
Hi. Anytime an employee that receives money from us as an employee chooses to work as a contract laborer, provide services to the city, like audit requires that we identify that and you guys approve that he can receive other monies beyond his salary from the city.
Does it have to be an individual's name? Can it not be city employees are allowed to work for Parks and Rec?
We have to do it
individually.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It'd be the same if that individual owned a business or husband and wife owned a business. We could name that business, but because it's him personally, we have to name his name.
Does it have to be an ordinance, cannot be a resolution?
No, it has to be an ordinance. We tried a resolution with Melissa on doing cleaning, and it's got to be an ordinance by law.
I make a motion.
Okay. We have a motion to approve on the first reading?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hefner?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooke?
Yes.
Councilmember Rubel?
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember McMahon?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-22 has been approved on its first reading. I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules for second and third reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
Season starting.
Now. Yeah,
And it's not,
this is
it's
that.
not for, it's not just for
Yes.
one sport.
No,
It's
it,
not
what,
for
it,
all sports,
right. A motion and second to suspend the rules. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'd entertain a motion to approve, or approve ordinance 2024-22.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Aye.
Motion second. Roll call, please.
Oh, I thought it was aye.
Councilmember Hefner,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooke,
Yes.
Councilmember Rubel,
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman,
Yes.
and Councilmember McMahon.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-22 has been approved. I'd entertain a motion to enact the emergency clause.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brooke,
Yes.
Councilmember Rubel,
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman,
Yes.
Councilmember McMahon,
Yes.
and Councilmember Hefner.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-22 is approved with emergency clause effective immediately. All right, moving forward. Mayor's report. I'll find it. There it is. Basically, we've had no change to the sidewalk projects that are still in progress as we work through the system. We're still looking at the ARDC loan of $791,000. We're in the budget talks right now with the CPA and how that affect us, so we should have more information at the budget meeting on that. Still waiting our decision on the call for project 2024, the body vehicle cam grant, still waiting a decision on it. The water tank inspection, we're waiting the report. And the demolition of the city vehicles, facilities has been completed.
Looks good too.
It does look good. They did a great job. And UDO, Planning Commission still continuing review. License plate reader, we're still waiting for the fourth installation, but I know this projects work, these things work. You can attest to that as an MBB, but you know, we had a hit the other night from a stolen vehicle out of Missouri. We didn't catch it, but the fact of the matter is we got notified it was here. And that's a great thing. Yes, you brought it up. Yeah, I've acknowledged you doing that.
I know, I was just
Yeah.
taking my moment.
Take your moment. Consolidated 916, the construction continues on that center. We anticipate probably a delay in opening it to February 15th, somewhere around there, just because we're just running some construction delays on that. Christmas decorations, Mr. Charles had asked that we consider that. I just signed a PO the other day for 6 new ones at $3,000. Those are not cheap, so we get 6 this year. We'll continue next year with some more. And then the budget
3 a piece or 3 total?
total.
Okay.
The budget workshop is going to be November 11th at 6:30 p.m. And that is the mayor's report for today. Do we have anybody who, we do have a couple people. Mr. J, you are, I don't, let me check. He sent me some photographs. I understand.
Hi, my name is Jay Soloff. So that's what the back of my head looks like, huh?
Yes, sir.
Bad.
Jay, they didn't come through.
They didn't come through. You didn't get them?
No, sir. I didn't.
Well, I took a bunch of pictures, about 25 pictures. I
If you
live
will-
over at 391 Wilson Loop.
Okay.
And from that street to here, it's an eyesore. And nothing's being done about it. I understand you guys are busy, and I respect what you do. You got all the houses going on. But don't get me wrong, this city looks horrible. I mean, you got bent signs. You got 319 signs sitting there since they did the road, they haven't fixed. You got toilet bowls in the road. You got bent, all signs. I came and spoke to you 3 years ago.
You
And I
did.
showed you pictures of half of this stuff.
You
And I
did.
said I would do it on my own money, my own truck. You told me you can't do it. Okay, fine. Rome
Not
wasn't
our-
built today, but nobody's done anything.
Not our dot signs. That's their responsibility.
But nobody's called them and done anything. It looks horrible. It looks ghetto, this town. And I moved here. It was nice when I first moved here. And I just want to know, I live here, and I want to know why nothing's being done about it. I know you pay people to go out and look at it, and they write up people and say, fix this and that, but nobody's doing nothing about it. And again, I volunteered my time, and you told me I couldn't do it. So who's getting paid to do what? That's it. I'm not trying to cause any problems. It's just from here to there. Imagine the rest of your town. Mailboxes all bent, wires coming out of the ground, all these AT&T boxes. I mean, it's ridiculous already. And I don't understand why it's nothing being done. That's why I'm here. And if I'm in the wrong place, you tell me.
You're in the right place, and you and I have talked.
You know, I don't want to be nasty about it. It's just I'm tired of looking at it. And I made a suggestion before. You put a big thing on the wall where code enforcement says so-and-so needs to be fixed. Every day they come to work, they start doing it. Or, you know, get a crew that takes one road per day or one road per week and start fixing it. The town looks horrible. And this is right by your office. I mean, you see that telephone pole and the trees that are all bent down and broken? You got the stop sign by the post office here, it's bent. I mean,
That gets replaced frequently.
yeah, but nothing's being done. That's what it comes down. I understand it takes a month or two, but I got pictures that I sent you 3 years ago. It's
Yes,
still
sir.
not being done. That's all.
That's fine. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Who else? Don, did you want to say something? And during this period, I didn't tell Jay this, but during this period, you have 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes. I'll make it quick.
All right.
There was a discussion, Don Waymack, City of Ward, there was discussion, about a few months ago about keeping the street gutters clean.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering where that stands. I know, like, I've seen professional lawn services, they'll come and they'll just blow grass all out in the street. People shooting fireworks, leaving all their trash in the gutter. I ride a bike, and grass is no good.
It's on a motorcycle either.
So, where does that stand?
We've passed the ordinance on keeping ditches clean. That's been passed. That's up to code enforcement. Hmm? Just recently, yeah.
Just recently, so it
Right,
has.
And we're working on the limb pickup.
We did that already.
I know, I missed it too.
It was on your water bill on a little line.
Well,
My husband gets it paid off the internet and I don't even see it.
I will tell you that I am in contact with Zealous. We may be working out a contract with them for them to do the yard pickup instead of our crews. That'll come to you next month probably.
So there,
Just be aware of that.
I apologize. So there is an ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
So like a recent one.
And I can shoot you a copy. Shoot me an email and I'll shoot you a copy of it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jerry? Did he leave? Jerry left. Okay.
So I have a question real quick, more on Mr. J's deal. The fences along, I guess,
Peyton, 319?
what,
Edward.
is that homeowner responsibility?
Yes, sir.
Or is that?
Homeowner. 100%. And code enforcement and Gary Building Inspector, we've done some research. Yeah, there's some things that we could be doing. We did cause it to write ordinance on us, but it's very, very touchy because it's literally their private property, their fence. And it's an eyesore to us, but it may not be them. And a lot of those houses, I promise you, are rental houses.
We have that right up against ours.
Right.
One fell over.
I mean, if we can issue them a citation for not mowing their grass, is that, because it's an eyesore, is that not fall
Not
along
the
the
same.
same lines?
No, because you get
I think it's more of a rodent infestation
Yes, sir.
type thing.
Yes, sir. I get it. I don't like going down 319, see them fences. It's something we've looked at, but it's not enforceable. It could be problematic legally to us.
Is there, and I'm just spitballing, is there a way that we could, like by resolution or ordinance or whatever, where the city go through and replace those?
No, sir. No, then you're using city tax dollars to betterment private property.
On Mr. J's comments about the ditches and stuff like that, I do notice the ditches aren't being maintained.
We cut back on mowing a lot of ditches. We looked at a map and we outlined some things that are our responsibility and should be the homeowner's responsibility. We're going to review that again after several months of not mowing. We ran into a situation a couple times where we were mowing mowing the ditches, and we ran into where we were throwing rocks on houses and breaking windows and siding, and we had to pay for it. Where one house mows their ditches, this house mows the ditches, but this one in the middle doesn't. So we had to get in there and mow it, and we ended up causing damage. Why are we mowing the ditch when it's actually their responsibility? It's their property. Do we have an easement? Absolutely 100%. A drainage easement? Yes, we do. It's really the homeowner's responsibility. We're going to review that again and see how that looks and go forward.
There's just for instance, in Wilson Loop next to the school, there's a ditch there that looks like a tree's growing in the middle of it because it hasn't been mowed in quite some time.
Yeah.
And it needs to be taken care of.
Is that the one right across the street by the church?
No. This is actually on Wilson Loop going down towards Moon Road, on the left-hand side. There actually is 2 ditches, right past where you work.
Yeah,
so anyway, there's 2 ditches there, and it's highly grown up quite a bit. And also another ditch right across the street from, was that Will Lake? No,
there is a cool thing, you know, if there's an ordinance on mowing your grass, you don't mow your grass, you get somebody's pocketbook, they usually mow it.
Yeah,
we have talked to folks. We don't like writing citations, and we try to work with them. But we have been working with some folks. And I'll be honest, in the history of the city, we've been mowing ditches that should not have been mowed by the city, and that's what we're trying to get away from. Mowing what we're supposed to be mowing. Homeowners take care of what they're supposed to be taking care of. There's a little education process in it.
I am curious how we get somebody a third trash can, because on the main road to the freeway, they need 3
That's up
trash
to them.
cans. I mean, the trash
I
is
can't
thrown.
get them a trash can.
No, I'm just saying, this trash is thrown all over, on the ground and such.
Turn your mic back on.
Oh.
I get that, and we got issues with that, but I cannot. tell
I
somebody
know.
It costs $5 a month. That's up on.
But to Mr. J, I agree with you. There's a lot of nasty looking spots in the city.
Mr. Frank, you got to come on forward, sir. Yeah, we got to put you on record. Come on.
27 years, and I didn't have no trouble knocking out windows and siding.
Okay,
And
go
I
ahead.
mowed and trash.
Say it
This is all the time.
Mr. Frank Enter, former employee, great guy. What'd you have to say, sir?
I worked for the city 27 years. I mowed the ditches, cleaned the ditches, never had any trouble busting siding or windows.
Let me tell you what we had.
I think the problem was that big tractor y'all bought.
That could be, sir.
Oh, that's about all I had to say.
Thanks, sir.
And, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Why the dry pond?
Pardon me?
Why the dry ponds, in the subdivision building?
Dry pond?
Ponds,
The
dry
detention
lakes.
The detention ponds?
Yeah.
But for drainage. Subdivision drainage.
You don't need a pond, a dry pond that big,
Well,
the way that's been built.
I'm not an engineer, sir.
Well,
That's what the engineers are.
I think they need to relook at that.
Well, again, they put a stamp on their engineering. Mr. Heath, you got a comment?
I'll kind of address that because that's kind of what I deal with.
Well, introduce yourself,
Heath
sir.
Corbersley. What it is on the ponds, those detention ponds, they have to take, and the engineers figure off of the size of the property, a 100-year flood, how much rain is going to be flowing, and then that has to go in there and they do the calculations, and that determines how big those ponds have to be. And then off of that, that's all it is. It is a pond to collect storm water that runs off instead of it flooding off through the ditches or running down creeks and flooding out that way. It goes into there, and then it's got a... No,
Anyway.
I'm not, because is that city property?
Where are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, typically the detention ponds don't get turned over to the city. They're part of the
We've been getting
neighborhood.
turned over to us, so we maintain
So they
them.
are. Well, if they are, then yeah, that would be the city's
Exactly.
responsibility to maintain it.
That's right.
But that's what those are for. And then once they hit a certain level, then the water starts running out of that.
Unless you get a hurricane come through and drop 16
Yeah.
trillion.
Well, and
it's
that's
all
it. That's when you're hitting that flood mark.
Anyway,
But
thank you.
that's what they're for.
All right. Anyway,
I think the thing about it is, Mr. Frank, like Heath's already experienced it, that's part of the reason why he knows so much too. A lot of the places that have already been built here in Ward don't have runoffs and don't have places, and so we get tons of complaints about like what Don said, where everything goes down the gutter. So now it's like we're almost in a fight with like a lot of the contractors, because now they're having to be held accountable for what they're building in the area and how they're doing it. So, I mean, I feel like we're behind the curve. We're trying to catch up. I do want to see the pictures, because I would like I'd like to know what all you're talking about too. And I would like to talk to the highway department, because they're terrible about responding to things.
they are. We know that personally. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Quickly,
Yes, sir.
the Girl Scout building,
Yes, sir.
looks good. But
Good.
along the fence there, there's a tree growing through the fence.
Uh-huh.
Right as you're coming out by the railroad track and you can't see. Is there something that could be done about it?
Yeah, we can take care of that. It's our property, we'll take care of it.
Is there, someone was asking us, I don't know where it was, asking us about the community garden, what the plans were.
We don't have any plans that we talked about it. It's
Okay.
something we need to, start working on soon.
Okay.
We tried to do that at some point a while back and it fell through.
Okay.
But it's a new day.
Gotcha.
And we have a new area that we-
I have another question that I should have asked back on the Water Advisory Committee thing. So, clarification, I know we said outside the city limits, but I'm assuming on water, to be on the committee, we need 2 people outside of the
3.
city. 3 people outside of the city limits. They have to be on ward water. Okay, but here's my question, because I'm just playing devil's advocate. So could that be someone that lives outside the city limits, however, their primary resident may not be here, but they still pay water bills here?
I'd have to read the ordinance to see what exactly it says, but that's not what it's designed to be. It's designed to somebody that lives here.
I get it, but we don't have anybody, and I'm just
believe-
saying, and if they're actually paying for water and paying for it
I believe that's
here.
what Act 605 alludes to also.
So you're saying something like,
That owns property within a mile, but
Well-
they live somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
well, I was thinking more like,
Is your mic on?
son or daughter paying their parents' water bill for them, but they live
Oh.
somewhere else.
It has to be the water account owner. Can't be somebody else.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying, though. What if they actually own an account?
But
They may even
live
have a
somewhere
home, but
else?
that might be their primary.
I'd have to look at that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
You don't know what I'm saying?
I do. You got somebody that
I mean, like, they're, like, let's just say you have a business in town. Let's just say that. What if you have a business in town, you're paying for the water here, you're paying for not sanitation, you're paying for sewer, you're paying for water and sewer. You can't get sanitation. But you're paying for it, but you live outside of that area, so do you have to have a primary residence only, or do you have to just be a paying customer in the city of Ward?
My take on it is you'd be a primary.
Can you get your mic on?
My take on it be you'd be a primary residence, not a business.
I believe, actually,
just a business, I was just using that as.
Well, I know, but
actually you can't be a business. It's residential.
it's residential.
Well, I would think if they're a stakeholder in the water.
I mean, it's something, I don't know. We'll look at it. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know, top of
I
my
would
head.
just like some outside input is the only reason I'm saying that. And if we can't get any, then could we do even just a little small thing where someone could do that if they actually had an account? Maybe it was by, I don't know.
And then what we,
Yeah.
I'll review the ordinance or resolution, whichever created it. I can't remember which. Anyway, I mean, we can bring it back to council and you have the power to change the ordinance or resolution.
Okay.
And we'll bounce it against Act 605, which is what this is driven off of, and go from there.
Talking about the highway department reminded me of something I was thinking about, the signs that have gas, food, whatnot. Can we purchase those for our businesses I know they're only $25.
No, I can't use taxpayer money for that.
Well, To,
You
okay.
can purchase it for them.
Okay, maybe I will.
Okay, but we can't use taxpayer money for that.
I just trying to drum up business.
I understand that. Anything else we'd like to talk about tonight? All right. Okay. I have nothing further. I was heading there. Well, nothing further to talk about. All right, announcements. Early voting starts October 21st. Exercise your right to vote. Planning Commission meeting October 28th. Election day is November 5th. Offices will be closed November 11th for Veterans Day, but we will be here that night for a budget meeting. City Council meeting November 19th. Yes, turn your mic on.
November 16th as a community Thanksgiving, from 11 to 1.
Thank you.
On the 16th of November.
November 16th, community Thanksgiving meal
Yes,
provided
sir.
by Cornerstone Church.
Here?
Yeah,
That'll be in the dining room. That's
It'll
very
be in
good. We'll
dining
get
room
it on the schedule, make sure it's on the schedule for us. But,
From
good.
11 to 1.
11 to 1.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Thank you for bringing that up. Anything else? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you very much. Did you have something else?